Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder have seemingly hacked the NBA. It looks like they have them under the palm of their hand as they are trying to move up in the NBA draft. And there's multiple reasons they could be doing this. Maybe they finally want to get that Cameron Johnson trade done. Maybe they want to move up, get a Derek Queen, secure to get Noah Esingwe, maybe even a Common Malawak, Konkunopo. Like, there are a ton of options that they could be trying to do moving up. Maybe even Jeremiah Fears, Oklahoma University guard. He's been there to scout his games before. Maybe he really likes him, wants to bring him on the squad, stay local with it. There's just no telling what he wants to do. But the fact that he can trade up and he's doing everything he can to move up into the lottery of the NBA draft shows that he truly has the NBA hacked. He can do whatever he wants, it seems like. It's starting to get to the point where it's like, look, I like this guy. This is the deal I'm going to offer you. You're going to take it. I don't know like what's happened for him to get this point of being that good of a GM, but we're going to break down the three possibilities, the three things I think are the most likely to happen if he is trying to trade up in the draft or go get a good player with other teams that are also trying to secure more draft picks. Before we get into all that though, quick moment, recognize 65% of you guys are still not subscribed to the channel, but are coming back on a regular basis to watch these videos. If you're coming back on a regular basis and you enjoy the videos and you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is just by hitting that subscribe button. You're never going to miss a single minute of a new video posted over here at Thunder Digest. You're going to be, a part of a great community as well. We're trying to hit 4,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So if you guys enjoy the content, want to help us reach that subscriber goal, go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. With that out of the way, let's go ahead, get into talking about it. And yes, a report came out by the Dunk Central kind of talking about, okay, there are some teams trying to move up in the NBA draft. One of those teams is the Thunder. But here are the three teams, all right? The Celtics, Thunder, and Nets are reportedly among the teams looking to trade up in the draft, per Grant Afseth. Boston holds picks number 28 and 32 and has been discreet in its evaluation of point guard prospects. Oklahoma City holds picks number 15 and 24, along with a deep stockpile of assets. Brooklyn is considered one of the most aggressive teams in the trade market, holding 4 first-round picks, numbers 8, 19, 26, and 27. So yeah, the Nets have 4 first-round draft picks. Thunder have 2. Boston has pick number 28 and 32. I think Boston is trying to trade up in the draft because they're probably going to lose Drew Holiday, maybe even Kristaps Porzingis, trying to find some guys that can replace them in the upcoming years. The Nets, I'm sure they want to move into a top 3. They might even be trying to talk with Dallas and moving to number 1 if that's even possible. I do think, though, there is a world of possibility with Oklahoma City trying to trade away those draft picks. I think this is kind of what we were all, speculating and thinking, that Presti was going to trade away the first-round picks this year because there's not really roster space for him. Now, he has an opportunity to trade up in the draft, okay, give Brooklyn even more picks, shed them of some contracts so they can truly do this rebuild right, and go after Cameron Johnson, who we all talked about before, all right? And his stats show he is a fantastic player. 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He averaged a steal a game as well, so everyone worried about his defense. He's still a good perimeter defender. He came into the league known as a 3-and-D wing player. That's what he's known as. Only 2 turnovers a game, only fouling 2 times a game. He shot 47% from the field, 39% from 3 during the season. And I know our biggest problem this postseason has been what? 3-point shooting, but everyone out there wanted to be like, no, we're just fine 3-point shooting. We have lost games and almost lost games because of our 3-point shooting. Cameron Johnson would have fixed that problem, and I still think he could next season and secure another championship. 44% on corner threes, 90% of his threes are assisted, and he's mainly taking 3-pointers. He's got good size. He's in the prime of his career now. He's 6'8", 29 years old, all right? He would be a great get for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And there are trade packages that you could put together to go after him and get him. This is one that I thought of. And this is, the draft order. Okay. I forgot to put this in here at first. All right. This is the draft order. Brooklyn has pick number 8. There's some teams out there that I think are very easy to trade with that we'll talk about here soon as well. But here's what a trade package, in my opinion, would look like for Cameron Johnson. You're trading, the Thunder are getting Cam Johnson and they're getting that 19th overall pick. All right. Do you really need to draft guys this year? Not really, not necessarily. Your team's fine, okay? You're going to give up Isaiah Joe, and I think this is kind of the common piece everyone agrees with. If you're trading for Cameron Johnson, you're giving up Isaiah Joe in any deal. Yeah. Ousmane Dieng, another guy that kind of seems obvious. And then Dylan Jones, another guy that seems obvious, but he's not really making a ton of money. It's just kind of, fill it out, maybe get under the cap a little bit more. You're trading your 15th pick this year, top 4 protected Philadelphia pick next year, which is going to convey they won't be a lottery team. They'll be trying to contend for a title. They'll be healthy. And then a second round pick in 2027. I think this deal gets it done. Okay. The Nets actually move up a little bit in the draft. They're 19 to 15 right there. Secure another good player that could fall for them, like a Noah Osingwe. The Thunder have picked number 19 and 24. Still 2 guys that can fill out the roster spaces now after trading away 3 of your guys. And then, it's just overall, you're going to get better 3-point shooting wise, and you're going to shed some guys that haven't been really doing much in Ousmane Dieng and Dylan Jones and Isaiah Joe. I think we can all agree Cameron Johnson is an upgrade from Isaiah Joe. So I think this is a good trade. Both sides, I think it's a win-win. I think it's one of the more likely trades we see. Another thing I thought about, and we'll go back to the draft order right here. There is a guy right here that I'm looking at. There is a guy. Pick number 6, Washington Wizards. You could trade up there, get a Derek Queen, Common Maldawak. All right. I don't know why Derek Queen is projected at 12. He should be a top 8 pick. You can trade up to number 6. I think the Wizards would be willing to do something like that because there are rumors going around that Cory Kisper is on the trade market. There are those rumors. And this is his contract. I think it'd be a great guy to go get. Cheap contract, making $13 million a year. Not going to be taking much on the salary cap. A really good contract for a really good player. And we can go ahead, take a look at the stats as well if you guys want to. Cory Kisper, he averaged 11 points a game last season, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Not the best defender in the world. I'll go ahead and say that. He doesn't fit the defensive scheme in Oklahoma City all that much. He doesn't turn it over a ton, though, is another thing. He shot 45% from the field, 36% from 3. He is a great 3-point shooter. He is 6'7". He's young as well, 26 years old, 37% on corner threes. We need a better, corner 3-point shooter. 94% of his threes are assisted to be great for some off-ball screen action, collapsing the defense where SGA and Jalen Williams drives, kick it out to him, open out on the perimeter, and 58% of all his shots are 3-pointers. I think this would be a great get for the Oklahoma City Thunder. No doubt about it in my mind whatsoever. All right? Now, what would a trade look like? This is something that I was kind of putting in my mind. Isaiah Joe to max contracts and everything. I know that sucks. They're very similar players in Kisper and Joe. I know that sucks. Kisper brings a little bit more size. Okay. I'm not as certain with this trade, but it could move you up in the draft. You get someone who's just as good at shooting threes as Joe, okay? Gets you pick number 6 to go draft Derek Queen or Common Maldawak, help you out with that center position once Isaiah Hartenstein leaves the team, because realistically, that team option might not get picking up because it's just so much money. And with Dub and Chet extensions coming to play, I'm not sure you can keep him on the team. Being honest about it. So you drafted Derek Queen to take Hartenstein's spot after next season. You trade pick number 15, pick number 24. You trade both your picks this year. All right, that's fine. I'm fine with that whatsoever. If our only pick is pick number 6 and we get a good center out of it, I'm fine. And then Philadelphia's first round pick next year. This seems like a little bit of overpay, and it probably is, but this is kind of a deal that we could see get done. Being honest about it, it's kind of a deal that we could see get done here. The final thing right here is a guy that I don't think a lot of people have on their radars that don't think he'll get traded. I think he could, though. Just because what the Raptors are trying to do now, enter a full rebuild and build around Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. Maybe Gradey Dick. Look at the payroll that they have right here. All right, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickley. They're trying to trade away Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett for sure. That's something that they're definitely trying to do. Reports have already come out about that. But they're trying to build around Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is going to have to get an extension here really soon. And he's going to get a max, all right? I don't think they're going to keep Gradey Dick, and he's making a little amount of money. He's still on a rookie deal. This was just his second season last year, and he had a very good season. We can pull up the stats right here. 14 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, all right? A steal a game. His perimeter defense has improved. He still can improve a little bit, but it's not like he's a horrible defender. 41% from the field, 35% from 3. He's still a good 3-point shooter. 6'6", super young, 21 years old. Fits the timeline of this team perfectly. All right, and a great 3-point shooter. I think this is a great target to try to go after. If you're trying to make a trade this offseason to move up in the draft, I think this is something that you can do. And a trade package for him isn't really going to take much. This is what I put together that I think would be most similar. All right, you trade the Raptors trading Gradey Dick and the number 9 overall pick, and the Thunder trade Ousmane Dieng, pick number 15, and pick number 24 this year. Once again, I am fine with that. I am fine with that. Now, for that draft pick, you're going to have to trade another guy, and they might trade a Dylan Jones as well, just to free up that roster space right there, so you can take on that player right there. So you might want to throw Dylan Jones into that. I didn't think about that whatsoever, but like I'm saying, I think this is a trade that could happen, and I think it would be a good trade for both sides. Gradey Dick's a good offensive player. Ousmane Dieng, he's never really going to see the floor for OKC, unfortunately. I think he has potential, but he won't realize that unless he's on a different team. You get that number 9 overall pick where you can still get a Common Malawak, Noah Osingwe, and Derek Queen. 2 of those 3 guys will be available at pick number 9. So, like I said, I think that's option number, is one of the better options. Option number 1 should be trading for Cameron Johnson and getting that 19th pick overall in the draft right there. I think that should be option number 1. If you can get Cameron Johnson, do whatever you can to get Cameron Johnson. All right. Besides trading like Lou Dort. Because we can agree Cameron Johnson's a better player than Isaiah Joe. We can agree with that. Basketball standpoint, Cameron Johnson is better. All right. And then, you're trading Ousmane Dieng and Dylan Jones. They're not really doing much at the moment either. Trade away a lot of picks. Yes, I get that, but you're also getting pick number 19 in return. So you're still getting a draft pick this year, and you still have pick number 24 as well to free up those 2 roster spaces that you lost in Dylan Jones and Ousmane Dieng with guys that could contribute right now or turn into better players down the line. Then next, I think it should be Gradey Dick. If you can't get Cameron Johnson, trade for Gradey Dick and get that number 9 overall pick. I think that'd be fantastic to do. You get a 3-point shooter on the squad that can help you out next season and the postseason, along with potentially getting Derek Queen, Noah Osingwe, or Common Malawak. The last one should be the Wizards one, just because it's going to take so much. It's just going to be hard to match contracts and everything for Cory Kisper. I'm sure they're going to want an Isaiah Joe. All right. They might take an Ousmane Dieng and Kendrick Williams. That could work, and it matches the contract up perfectly, and you can use that draft pick right there. It's just, I think the Cory Kisper and that number 6 overall pick from Washington trade is a little bit harder to do because I think Washington does want to use the pick, all right? But with the Thunder wanted to trade up in the draft, it truly does look like the Thunder and Sam Presti have hacked the NBA, that they're going to have lottery picks for the next 5 to 6 years, that they're always going to be young and competing for titles and trying to build a dynasty right now. That's all I got for this video. Let me know the team and players that you think the Thunder should trade up for to try to, draft, or even guys in the league right now. They're like, look, you trade up for this pick right here, and you also take away this guy from their team. This would be perfect in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section below. See you guys in the next one.